We are live. Hello, nobody, because I have not sent out the stream link yet. Give me 1 second. Shut your mouth, you whore.
How we gonna send out the stream link yet, huh?
Stop doing Chris Chan. We're gonna do Chris Chan. Don't do Chris Chan during the stream.
We're gonna get banned.
Yeah.
Chris Chan.
Christian Weston Dickinson.
Christian Weston Hudson.
Christian Chris. My name is Chandler. Christian Weston Chandler.
Christian Weston.
Valerie Hudson. I wish someone would make a fucking sequel to Thomas. Cause the fucking story I'm doing a review on for my next channel, for my next like actual story, actual like proper review. Yeah, fucking Smiley from that story that that Creepypasta covered ages ago, fucking eons ago, centuries ago.
He is in it.
He's there, yes, he is. Oh boy, Raptor is here.
Hello, Eco Raptor's back?
Oh god, fucking Eco Raptor is here. I'm so glad such a big YouTuber like Eco Raptor is following me and such an avid supporter of the channel.
If we say Eco Raptor enough, he'll probably see us eventually, like shut us down and talk Game Grumps, leak our IP address or something.
Oh god, Bean Daddy Mandela is here. I don't fear you, Bean Daddy. However, I do fear the fact that I have 3 Deviantart creepypastas that I will be reading here with Link today. Say hello, Link.
Hello, Bean Daddy. We don't fear you, but Bean Mommy, on the other hand, ooh, she's scary.
I'm gonna kill you one day. You're gonna die. Okay.
I've tried already. It doesn't work.
No, it won't work until I get the sun angry.
Yeah.
Then
you have to wait.
then the fucking your healing factor that's built up to be super ridiculous won't even matter.
Yeah.
Right?
Because it doesn't matter if I regenerate. I'll just be regenerating goo.
Yeah. You're just goo now.
One day we will read One Day Breaks.
We can do it on the stream, frankly. In fact, let's have a little tangent. One Day Breaks, the SCP story is terrible. And I will cover it one day in some form or medium.
One day in the future, people will realize that SCPs are only like a step above creepypasta, but they're still easy to make fun of.
I think most SCPs are pretty good. However, there are quite a few stinkers.
Yeah.
Like the one that crashed into the moon.
Yeah.
That one.
The malfunctioning destroyer.
Yeah, that one's fucking heinous, isn't it?
Yeah. I just think that SCPs almost are good to an extent, and then like there's a few things that just make you really, really mad.
Yeah.
That you can't ignore.
Oh, it's apparently a bit hard to hear you, Link. Speak up a bit, first and foremost. Fuck you.
Hello.
Oh,
how's it going?
Bend the microphone down towards you. You're on full blast. Say hi.
Hi.
Okay. Now, let's...
How is it going? Is that better, everyone?
This is a voice actor in the making, fellas.
Yeah. I'm not gonna lie, I don't have my mic plugged in. I'm using my iPhone mic tonight.
You're a coward.
I know.
Why are you doing that?
Because I didn't download Discord on my computer yet, so I don't know my iPhone only.
Damn it. Okay. Apparently you sound like you're in a World War II like radio. And coming up from the rear, it's Hitler's horse. I don't know why anyone would name their horse that besides Hitler. Okay.
This is the 101st Airborne. Do you read me?
We're about to fire backfire on King Kong. There's a big gorilla. And he's going...
a big gorilla on the Manhattan building. Oh my god.
You see, when you say it like that, you just sound like Linkara.
There's a giant gorilla over there.
He must be stopped by the light bringer.
I must bring the light to his life.
Apparently you're still hard to hear, which I don't really know how to fix that, to be honest. Maybe I could I don't know.
Just ban who's ever saying it.
Yeah, no, I'll ban both the only two people watching.
Exactly.
Okay, so besides Link and his time traveling microphone, we have 3 stories here today. We have Juggling Lily, which is just a superb title. Creepypasta, It's Just Evolution. Also, just the best title possible. And Madness, Jack vs. Jeff, which I'm I'm very excited for, frankly.
And I possibly have read before.
Because you're a disgusting degenerate that used Deviantart.
Yes.
Okay.
Also, Mr. Creepypasta,
Oh, Christ.
who I think I listened to it from.
Oh, if that's... Yeah, this has definitely not been read by Mr. Creepypasta.
Oh, then
Yeah.
maybe I'm thinking of someone else's.
Yeah, no, this has 400 views. This is definitely... Which is still twice as many views as my most popular video has gotten, which... That says a lot, frankly, but...
This is a lot of society.
Says a lot indeed. Alright, we ready? I've sent the links to you. Okay, let's go.
Start with juggling Lily, right?
Jubbling Lily, yes.
Jubbling.
Jubbling Lily. Getting her jubblies.
Oh,
Okay, this is juggling.
If ain't juggling Lily, she doesn't even juggle.
Stop with the Chris. Okay, the character will be voiced by Chris Chan.
Hey, juggling Lily.
Okay, so this is Juggling Lily by Levy Sexual. Published May 3rd, 2015. Here we fucking go. My name is Christian. No. No, you don't. No, you're not reading it in the Christian. There was once a carnival full of rides, laughter. That's why is that uppercase, and a circus. Okay, there.
Yeah, why is that uppercase?
Not. You know what? This entire sentence, this one right here. It's not worth it.
Listen, full laughter and the word "and" are all names. Those are characters in the story.
Yeah, full laughter and are characters. That is confirmed.
Yeah.
There was a little girl who was the main star to steal mother's heart. One mother specifically. Only one. You know, the Omni Mother.
It's Gaia.
It's Gaia, yes.
Yeah.
Her name was the Juggler. Her show name, of course. The girls, now it's multiple girls, so I guess they don't know which is which.
Yeah.
The girl's real name was what?
It's like Triplicate from that one DC cartoon no one watched.
You see, you reference that and say that no one watched it, expecting me to have watched it and understand that.
Well, you know, there's always hope.
Raptor, you bring me much joy with your funny comments.
What Raptor say?
Let me guess, the circus burns down, it closes, it gets bought out and turned into an Amazon warehouse. I mean, probably it's a circus.
Mysteriously burns down.
I didn't even know circuses still existed, to be honest.
Circuses. Circuses are over.
Circuses are over party. They got canceled for homophobic tweets. Her show name, of course. The girls, multiple girls, real name was, Lily. Lily was a very happy girl, enjoying her life and all. You know, all that such stuff, you know. Her parents were the owners of the carnival. Oh.
This is child labor.
It's a voice. Hey, you. Do funny voice.
Really? Let's try to lock up for
They can't all be Christian.
Should Lily be Christian?
Yeah, Lily will be Christian.
Okay.
The mom can be someone else. The mom can be, they're not, no one's gonna be able to understand you if you do that.
Oh well.
Okay. The mother said, it's Christian now.
Oh, alright, Mom.
Lily replied, going into the performance tent to practice. Lily sighed, grabbing, capitalized it again for some fucking reason, her ball to stand on. She placed a foot on the ball before adding her second, almost losing her balance. Losing balance.
Almost is capitalized, okay.
Yes, again. But, don't start a sentence with but. It's really...
You're supposed to start however.
Made her balance anyway. You made it? Oh, who fucking cares? Why is the spacing between paragraphs weird? Like, it's one space for these two. And then it's two spaces. And then one space, two spaces. Two spaces. Who fucking cares? Okay.
Alright, to be fair, I didn't really notice because, like, I'm too busy working, trying to figure out all these people's weird names.
Yeah, all these uppercase people.
Yeah, almost grabbing.
2, 3. After 2 or 3 hours of practicing, Lily made her way to the tent. Before entering, Lily listened closely on what her parents are talking about.
Should we just break the ice to Lily that we're...
The mother was cut off by the voice of her daughter.
If you asked about water.
Lily asked, washing the makeup on her face.
It's nothing. Just eat your dinner and go to sleep, Lily.
Her mom is Jeff the Killer. Okay, we got a new voice.
Break it to my daughter that I'm Laughing Jack.
How do I break it to my daughter that that I gotta fight Laughing Jack this morning?
Yeah. Laughing Jack's your father.
Don't ask how that works, but just know that I am the woman in this situation. The mother tried to change the subject. Lily just shrugged it off and began eating her dinner. Afterwards, she said goodnight to her parents and went doublespace into her bedroom, staring at the darkness. I don't think you can stare at darkness. Who cares?
What's staring doing at the darkness?
It's the uppercases. All uppercase. Oh no. Lily is British. Thank God.
Oh no, we need the British person here.
She can't tonight. This cat could not make it tonight. Before she shut her eyes and drifted to sleep. Lily immediately... That's not how you spell that word. Lily immediately had been awakened by an engine. Lily quickly went to wake up her mother and father. They were just pillows. Oh no. Her parents are pillows.
Oh,
They,
my parents would turn into pillows.
his mom and dad were both body pillows.
How do we break it to my daughter that we're just pillows?
It turns out that Lily's schizophrenic and she thinks that her body pillows are her parents.
Oh no.
Lily gasps before running out of the tent, going to the main entrance. That's not how you spell that either. No, noticing a car speeded off. Speeded off.
What's
That
going on here?
Lily blinked in confusion. She panicked as she turned on the tent lights. Changing out of her pajamas and into her jester costume. Why?
What?
Why would you do such a
That's
thing?
the first thing I do too. My parents let me all alone.
If my parents abandoned me to my fate, I would probably just dress up like a clown as well. Hong Kong chicken tendies and all, you know?
Yeah. Time to go get my magic ball.
She looked in the mirror and noticed an X carved in. Carved? Oh, yeah. She looked in the mirror and noticed an X carved on each of her pupils. You know, more than the two of them. Each of them.
Okay, so you didn't feel that?
I think it's on the mirror, to be fair. Oh,
No, it's on her pupils.
yeah. What? Oh, yeah, because they're moving, so I guess they would
Wait,
be.
hold on.
So yeah, I guess they would not. They would be on her face. It'd be kind of hard to do it in a mirror.
Yeah, so there's no blood, nothing?
Yeah. Her parents have been afflicted, but with instant pillow disease.
Instant X disease.
Carved on each of her pupils. What the?
What the?
Lily
Hey,
blinked.
stop feeling
I'm
bad.
sorry. I forgot. On her pupils, yes, I'm also upset by that, Bean Daddy.
What did he say?
He just said on her pupils in a mad voice. Lily immediately. Oh, where the fuck was I? Lily blinked, noticing a note from the corner of her eye. Period. Lowercase. Fuck you. The little jester picked it up as she began to read.
I'm sorry, Lily. You're a disgrace to us. A clown. A jester. We didn't mean for you to be born into this world. Love your mother. Okay.
Very polite way to end that, like, disowning. like.
So, let me get this straight. Her parents disown her
Yes.
and try to kill her by carving X's into her pupils. And then they're like, no, we can't do this safely.
I love that they wrote her a letter, which is basically, you suck, and I hate you, and you're a mistake. Also, love you. Goodbye.
They told her to kill herself.
Why are they saying like sorry? Like, hey, sorry that you suck. Goodbye.
I just thought about this. How do we break this our daughter that we hate her?
How do I bring it to my friend? How do I bring it to my daughter that I wanted her to die when she was born?
Yeah.
Oh, was this written by Tywin Lannister?
That might as well have been.
Yeah. Nah, if it was written by Tywin Lannister, the writing would be better.
Hopefully, at least.
Yeah. Lily couldn't help but cry. Her soft sobs grew louder and louder until the sobs became to a stop. Lily couldn't help but to laugh. A grin came across her face.
Oh, disgrace. A clown? A jester? Okay, wait. What was that?
You went from Chris Chan to like nostalgia critic real fast.
Yeah.
You gotta go again, or
I'll just keep going. That's
Okay.
right.
she let out a slight chuckle.
Wait until I find you. Oh, my God.
She smirked. Oh, that's a word that.
Perhaps I'll call myself the juggler.
Lily exclaimed. After 3 years of searching, I'm just giving minor details, I suppose.
3 years later, okay.
Lily came to a stop, noticing The old house when she was smaller, before doing the carnival. The lights were on. Lily nodded to herself, knocking on the door. The Omni Mother, opened the door and gasped to see her now grown up daughter wait, how old is she again? Wasn't she like a kid? Yeah.
Yes, let's abandon my daughter. She'll never think to look for us in here, in our home.
She'll never think to look for us at home, where we live. You know, the place she's been before.
Yeah. The only other place
in her entire life. The mother opened the door and gasped to see her now grown-up daughter, probably like 13 because she was like 10 before, in a costume similar to her childhood jester costume. Great use of costume twice in the same sentence. Also, why is costume uppercase?
Well, jester is also uppercase.
Yeah.
But do you have to do jester costume uppercase in this scenario?
I mean, I guess there are characters, so.
Yeah, that's just another person's name.
Yeah.
Lily.
Her voice got deep, damn.
Yeah. I keep messing up the voice. I'm supposed to keep going.
She couldn't help but to stare as tears began to fill up her eyes. Lily did not say one word. She was just full of anger, sadness, and haterade. Oh, my favorite. Hate red. For her parents. Oh, love this. Love this. Lily did not say one word. In fact, she said 5. Lily asked. She didn't say a single word until she started speaking. Lily asked. Yeah. Lily asked before shouting the question at her mother.
You abandoned me.
The mother pushed Lily back, punched her in the face. Lily back in fright before she lunged at her. She
had lunged at her.
Before she had lunged at her Okay, wait. I'm gonna give me 1 sec. Okay. The mother pushed Lily back in fright before she had lunged by her disgrace of a daughter. That's not a sentence, so I'm gonna move on. Lily quickly puts her hands around her multiple mother's neck, tightening, that's also a person, apparently, the grip.
That's his title, tightening the grip.
Oh my god, the villain from Megamind showed up. The mother tried everything to get Lily off. Lily greatly enjoyed the feeling of her mother gasping for air and attempts to fight back. It wasn't long before Lily's mother's eyes became lifeless. And that's the end. The end.
Do you want to read this part down here or can I read it?
You can read it.
Alright, thanks to Best of the Jest for fixing this story up. Best of the Jest, you need to do a better job next time.
Best of the Jest, you really need to get your shit together, frankly. Because. Yeah. So that was terrible. I'm shocked that Laughing Jack didn't show up at any point.
Yeah, I was about to say that. I think the most shocking part is that Laughing Jack wasn't in this.
Also, another shocking thing is the author just, I guess, got bored and just left halfway through.
Yeah, I guess, I like how it's referred to, she has parents, but yet we never meet the dad.
Why does Lily hate Red? I don't know. Maybe he made her sit through a 3-hour fucking long creepypasta for a very unsatisfactory ending.
He sends her weird pictures of food.
Fuck you for that. Okay, so that was awful. That's not the worst story I've ever read in my life, but it's
very confusing.
It's pretty high up there, frankly.
At least this is one. I guess I could say at least this is one story that's worse because of the spelling errors and the content.
Yeah, at least Lily wasn't like raped by her dad or something.
Yeah.
That would have been, yeah. Also, I love how how she keeps talking about her parents, but we only ever get interactions with her and her mom, and her dad never shows up.
Yeah. I know. I like the one part of here
Yes.
where she recognizes her daughter has come back and she starts crying because her daughter isn't dead yet. He's like, no!
No, she didn't starve.
You're not dead yet!
Damn it. Okay, so that was May 3rd, 2015. 6 years or so. Fuck, okay. Okay, so that was terrible. But quickly moving along, we have creepypasta. It's just evolution.
It's only death.
It's only death. Fucking candy cane.
Oh my gosh! I just opened this story. I'm already amazed.
What's wrong?
Is it? Well, do you want to read it first? Do you want me to explain what? Is it?
I'll read, but
Okay.
so this is creepypasta. It's just evolution by Comrade Apex, and it was posted January 4th, 2015. 6 years or so ago. So that sucks. Oh, that's okay. Yeah, that's yeah. Okay, so it starts out by repeating the title, and then it says, "And I do not dare deny the basic beast inside. It's right here. It's controlling my mind. And why? Do I deserve to die? I'm dominated by this animal that's locked up inside. By corn."
Please don't quote a corn
Don't quote.
song in your scary story.
Oh, this one's super short. Okay.
I mean, at least it's not like Wheels on the Bus or something.
Yeah, but also, what the fuck is a song from Korn doing in this fucking creepypasta? Okay.
All of a sudden, it's just going to start saying, "Bang, okay, you stop singing."
Yeah. At least it's like a modern song, but also, it's kind of terrible that it's a modern song because that's terrible.
It's modern corn. Ugh.
Mad Men? That's the word. That word has haunted visionaries such as myself since the dawn of human society. Oh Christ, I see where this story is going. This is gonna be pretentious. Love it. I seek nothing less than perfection. Another man, who I may not so humbly compare myself with, also said in a certain book, which you may have which you may have heard of, called Mein Kampf.
Why is the story quoting Korn and Hitler within like the first paragraph?
I struck gold. I'm sorry. I didn't realize what this was. Okay, I'm gonna read this. I'm gonna read this sentence in its entirety again. I seek nothing less than perfection. Another man, who I may not so humbly compare myself with, also said in a certain book, which you might have heard of, called Mein Kampf, that a human's duty is to be perfect in every way. I share that sentiment and have built upon it. Oh, Christ.
Wait.
What?
Okay, so he's still comparing himself to Hitler, though.
Yes.
Because he said he doesn't want to, but he is.
Yes, he's definitely comparing himself to Hitler. Why? Imperfection is a crime against nature. I mean, there's imperfections in nature everywhere, man. Have you ever... Oh, Christ.
Are you sure this is a creepypasta?
This is in creepypasta original characters. He has the skin... Okay. Imperfection is a crime against nature. And only such crime that counts. And the only such crime that counts. What? He has the skin tone of an Arab, my benefactor, but speaks with a noticeable German accent. Whatever. What is that? Wait, what the fuck?
Is this
guy's just it's just like a Hitler creepypasta.
Hitler.exe.
That's actually on the playlist. There is a story called.
Oh, no.
It's definitely it's a joke story, so it's okay.
Oh, okay.
Whatever. I'm not going to ask my benefactor questions. If he wishes to hide his face under an outlandish mask, that's his business. He provides me with captives, and he never asks for payment. Yes, I suppose he asks for my soul. But there is no scientific evidence to submit the existence of a soul. So I really lost nothing at all. I traded nothing and gained something. Koi.
He's a Nazi, a corn fan, and an atheist. Okay.
Man, just the most insufferable person possible. Next, he's gonna tell me he's a libertarian.
Oh, God. He's going to say, oh, man, I hate taxes. Ugh.
I love Elon Musk. Is the next line.
Jeff Bezos, that's my hero.
I think, frankly, I believe that the hypertrain is the real, not the hypertrain, the hyperloop is the real solution to like public transportation. I mean, it's a Tesla that drives underground. That's the next thing. Just build a train. Fuck you.
Hey, Bio.
Yeah.
I'll be back in a few minutes. I have to go do something. If you want to keep reading, you can.
I will. I mean,
Alright.
I'll suffer in silence.
Okay. I'm sorry. I'll be right back, though.
See ya.
Goodbye.
Goodbye. Back on topic. These captives, they are dirty when they come to me. Unclean, flawed, imperfect. But I change that in short order. I dye every follicle of hair they possess with pure peroxide dye. I can't pronounce that word. To turn it a wonderful shade of golden blonde. And in the case of non-Caucasian subjects, I treat the skin with dyes and compounds to turn it a turn the proper shade of pale white. Parentheses. Holy Christ. I am careful to make the skin match my own hue. I am perfect. So logically, if they are like me, they are perfect too. I inject them. I don't think this is very scientific, frankly. I inject their eyes with the proper chemical to turn their iris blue. The blindness is an unfortunate side effect, but a necessary sacrifice for the greater good. These are my new men, my perfect human beings. Madmen. Heh. Without visionaries like me, we would still be in the dark ages, working in the fields until the ripe old age of 30 when we finally drop dead, cowering in the fear of our God. All the while, not for me. No, not for me. The path I have chosen, this is the path I have chosen. This is mankind's future. And more quotes from Korn, which is, take a look around. Nothing much has changed. Take a look around. Nothing much has changed. Korn evolution. That was fucking... That was abysmal, right? That was, What the fuck is this? This isn't even like a creepypasta. This is just some guy talking about how he... This is just fucking weird. I don't even know how to fucking, like, address this one. This is just... There's nothing really scary about this. It's just kind of, like, weird, morbid, yeah. Nazi. I got some comments here. My eyes are already blue. My eyes are blue already, but good story. What is this? What are these people? What is this? Arthur 55. What the fuck? Well then, going straight to the perfect race under Hitler. XD. I like it. Great job. Well then, that was more creepy than what you normally write. Wow, that was interestingly dark. Shit. Okay, that was different. Yeah, that was different indeed. Um, I don't know how to address this one. um, I don't read through these coupons beforehand, so I was not expecting this. I thought this was gonna be like a silly fucking I made a stupid story about like an like a fucking experiment monster that like evolves and looks like a teenage girl, and I could make fun of it for not understanding what evolution is. Instead, I got a very pretentious story about a guy who listens to corn and talks about wanting to be like Hitler. So, uh, I'm gonna. I assume this is written in a character's perspective, so I don't think this is what the person who wrote its actual opinions are. However, this does just kind of read like how Mike points out. It just kind of does read like like someone from 4chan just just spewed fucking nonsense onto their page for like 4 paragraphs. Yeah, this is abysmal. That it's not really scary. There's no real like story to it. It's really.
The only thing that scares
Oh
me
jeez.
is the only thing that scares me is the author.
Jeez, you fucking. The only thing that scared me is you fucking jump scaring me like that. Genuinely fucking made me jump. Um, but yeah, no, that was fucking weird. Did you hear the rest of the story, Link, while you were gone?
So, no, I didn't really, but,
Yeah, it's
I'm looking at it real quick.
yeah. Yeah.
Why is this ethnic cleansing.exe?
Ethnic cleansing.exe. That. Why is okay? So I
What?
I don't even I don't even know how to address this one because it's like
I think he's explaining why it's okay for him to be racist.
I don't. So I'm gonna assume this story is from the perspective of a character and not the main, like the actual author. So I don't think he actually is a Nazi.
Yeah, I hope.
However, this was a pretentious dribble that means nothing, isn't scary, and doesn't even tell a story for about 5 paragraphs, and then it ends. So, yeah, that was terrible.
Someone in the comments is making a joke about being an Aryan.
You mean, my eyes are blue already, but good story. I love how everyone in this story talking about, like, haha, Hitler are using XD, like, faces. Like, haha, XD, Hitler, genocide. Okay, so.
So this is basically Toby's alt account explaining why he likes this.
Toby Ghostwritten wrote this on his Deviantart page. Holy Christ. Okay, so there's he's written something else. Cool. I don't plan to read it anytime soon.
That one's even worse.
Was this one worse than Juggling Lily? I think from a writing.
This one wasn't worse written.
Yeah,
I'll say that.
I think from an objective standpoint, this one was better written. However, it's also this doesn't tell a story, so
This tells about how the comrade wants to send up people away to his gulags.
this is literally just some guy. This reads like a fucking green post on 4chan. Like some guy's just like, actually, I'm genetically perfect.
I'm not racist, but man, I don't like any race other than
Then blonde Aryan.
other than Aryans.
Other than the Aryans. Okay.
Now, that's why this is a good thing.
So I think this is the worst story. Yeah, this is the worst one so far tonight. But
if you ever get on bad creepypasta, please make them read that one.
I'm not making them read creepypasta shows. Holy shit. Okay.
I just want to see how they react to it.
If I ever get on their show, I'm making them read fucking Burner. Okay, so now that we've covered those two stories, in parentheses stories, let's get to the main event of the night.
The grand finale.
Madness.
The John Cena versus Triple H.
The Khabib versus Connor of this whole storyline.
Yeah. Edward versus Jacob.
Were you Team Edward or Team Jacob? I didn't watch Twilight, but like...
I didn't really care, but I like werewolves more than vampires. So
I agree. That's why I was also Team Jacob. Like, if you put a gun to my head and asked me to choose, I would choose Jacob.
Yeah. Why is that? Why do I see a Twilight poster behind you?
You've caught me. I'm Stephanie Meyer herself.
You caught me. I'm a Twilight fan.
No, I'm Stephanie Meyer.
Stephanie Meyer.
I'm just using a voice modulator.
Yeah. So it's funny if you had a voice modulator, change your voice. Like, after you said that.
Into Stephanie Meyer.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is the first story on the channel that actually has... No, fucking Bloody Randy, I forgot. Yeah. Okay, so this is the second story on the channel that covers the old Jeff man himself. However, it is the first story to cover Laughing Jack, so...
Yeah, the other pretty popular character.
The one that was written by a sex offender.
Was it?
Yeah, no, the guy who wrote Laughing Jack apparently did some things. Not some... You're now discussing Twilight. That's officially worse than the wannabe Nazi writer. Hey, we're just discussing werewolves.
Yeah.
We're talking shop, you know.
Yeah. Look,
Okay.
just because... Look, I don't have... 1, 2, 3... 13 Twilight posters on my wall right now, okay?
I don't have every single book in mint condition on my walls at this very moment.
I'll mute the recording real quick. That's what I tell you.
Yes.
So the joke was I actually have 14. You get it?
Okay.
Yeah.
We're delaying the inevitable.
Why is the stream still going, Bio? Did you just reveal that to everyone? Oh no!
I'm gonna fucking die.
Guys, I'm just joking. I don't have 14. I actually have 15.
Okay.
Put another one up.
Yeah, as we were recording, another one came in. That's why you left. You were getting a new fucking Twilight poster. Yeah, it was just delivered. Okay. So, we've delayed the inevitable. This is Madness, Jack vs. Jeff by Soulful Sorrow, published February 27th, 2014. 7 years ago.
Yes.
Oh, no.
Cracks knuckles. Okay, let's go.
Cracks knuckles, cracks neck, cracks spine.
Cracks neck, freaking dies.
I moved... Okay. I gotta get into mindset. I moved to what? Okay. Shut the fuck up. I moved to this town with my father, but I knew moving to Noiselund. Noiselid?
That place doesn't exist.
Look that up. I'm pretty sure that it must exist, right?
I'm sure it does. I was just trying to joke.
It's gotta be from like fucking England or something.
Sounds like Norway or something.
Sounds like crap, man.
I don't even know how to spell it. 1 sec.
Oh Christ! I see him coming.
weird name.
What?
It's a weird name.
Yeah. Bean Daddy, you go to bed. Can I send you to bed, joke jail? Is that something I can do, Bean Daddy? Or is that only something you have the authority to do? Because if it is something I can do, please go. Because you just said, are you sure this isn't Sparta, Jack vs. Jeff? And I want you to suffer.
Okay, Bio, I was right. That isn't a real place.
Okay, so we're correct.
Yeah, unless it's like he misspelled it horribly.
I knew moving to made up city was a bad idea. Of course.
Wait, is it a town in Undertale? I keep getting Undertale playthroughs.
I hope fucking not. Of course, things in our former hometown of Frampton weren't going so well. My best friend, the guy I knew for years, started raving about laughing. He started talking about someone named Jack, and he sent me, and he got sent.
This dude named Hitler went on Deviantart.
He started talking about how like Aryans were the superior race.
Yeah.
It really was
concerning.
concerning.
An Arabic dude who was basically Hitler.
I just couldn't follow, frankly. And got sent off to this mental hospital. Personally, I called it a nut house. But never around him. Well, yeah, he was in the mental hospital. You wouldn't really be seeing him very often.
I mean, unless you went to go visit him.
Yeah. The day before he was locked up, I remember him and I talking in the woods behind his house. It had been a favorite hangout of ours next to a fallen oak tree. That sentence was very hard to read. With the lush green leaves hovering over us, suspended. They're like mid-fall.
Yeah. Oh, okay, Bio.
Yeah.
I think you were right. It is just a place in the UK misspelled because Frampton apparently is a real place in the UK.
Yeah, no, Frampton sounds real. Noisewood sounds fucking...
Just misspelled.
Yeah. I remember him and I hovering leaves, yeah. Hovering over us. It was a great secluded area. I forgot whatever our conversation was about that day, but I remember him grabbing my shoulders and screaming in my face. Link, do a funny
voice. Do you want me to do him and you do
yes, of course I do.
Okay. Alright. Like it was my fault, Aaron. All my fault.
Ron, dude, what?
Every night he's outside my window playing Pop Goes the Weasel.
Okay. Link, you're at an 11.
Yeah.
I need you down to like a 6.
Okay, sorry. Every night he's outside my window playing Pop Goes the Weasel. Not playing. No.
Okay. Who?
His name is Laughing Jack. He calls himself Laughing Jack.
Maybe that's because that's his name.
I'm gonna nickname you Laughing Jack.
His name was Paul Allen. He called himself Paul Allen. I didn't understand why he called himself Paul Allen.
I couldn't figure out why for the life of me.
It's still your line.
Yeah. Oh, good. And he just laughs. I scream and scream, but he just laughs.
Ron, just...
I'm crying.
Oh, Ron broke down crying, falling to his knees, still clutching at my shirt.
It's all my fault, Aaron. After he's done with me, he'll go for you.
Are you trying to get to, like, Shaggy?
That's what I was originally gonna do, and then it just started...
So it's, like, morphing into, like, 3 different voices simultaneously. It's like if the Nostalgia Critic voice with Shaggy.
Shaggy's voice.
Yeah. Whoa. What? Who?
Laughing Jack.
He roared, tears falling from his eyes, mixing with a snot falling from his nose
Just one
into
now.
his mouth. Repulsed. Ew, disgusting. I hate mental breakdown. Ew, get away from me, you mentally disturbed freak.
Get a tissue.
He punches him in the face. I tried to take a step backwards, but his grip on my shirt seemed to grow tighter. I didn't know what to do. Had my friend unknowingly sent some sleazy bastard to find me and kill me? What?
If he paid you to do that, and he's
Not really.
taking his time.
It's not really your friend, is he?
Yeah.
Ron was having a complete breakdown. You don't say.
Yeah, I can't tell by the single snot.
I couldn't think of anything to do besides run. I stepped backwards, and Ron's hands fell away from his shirt. I turned and started to run. Thank you for clarifying that you were going to run when you were telling me you were about to run.
Yeah, thank you.
Behind me, Ron was screaming at the top of his lungs and didn't stop. Okay, blank.
No, Aaron, he'll find you. He'll find you.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for not screaming. He was taken away later that same night. As my father and I drove into Noiselude, not a real place. I'm looking. Did he misspell it twice? Wait, is it Noiselude? Noiselude.
It's
Yeah.
a really hard town to spell.
I looked out the window at the trees passing by for a moment. For a moment, I thought I saw a man in a white sweatshirt. Oh, he's... Oh, Christ.
There he is.
I saw a man in a white sweatshirt with long black hair. My body's, like, physically rejecting this story. I'm having a hard time breathing. But as soon as I saw him, he was gone. Wait, what? As soon as I saw him, he was gone. So you saw him, and then he, like, fucking, like, vanished into the void. Ah!
He was like, oh god, he sees me.
Like those fucking skits of Batman where, like he's just running away, sprinting. We arrived at our new house, and I carried a box of my stuff upstairs to get used to my new room. Okay. The house was a 2-story place near a wooded area. Of fucking course it was. And on the other side of the woods was a river. We were next to 2 other houses. The street was a cul-de-sac. Yes.
He lives with Ed and Eddie.
Yes, Ed and Eddie is.
Yeah.
It's a 3-way crossover between Ed, and Eddie, the Lost Episode, Laughing Jack, and Jack the Killer. The screen's gonna get blurry.
It's the British Ed and Eddie, so it's like Jim and Jerry.
It's fucking. It's James, Jim, and Jamie. Oh no. We had to move all our stuff, but we had gone back to our former town to collect a few last minute items like my Iron Maiden CDs or my dad's old car magazines. Parentheses, my favorite was the one with a lady on the front in a small black bikini. Thanks, dog. Thanks, dog.
Keep it in your pants.
I'm glad we could talk about your weird perverted fantasies for a short second in this story.
Man, I sure do hate cars, but women, that's a different thing.
Maybe I was gonna say JC the Hyena, but I meant to say Slime Beast. But if it was JC the Hyena that wrote this, it would be, be a small boy,
Yeah, the girl would be 14 years old.
And a dude.
Yeah.
Fuck JC the Hyena. After collecting everything, we loaded it onto a truck and into the truck and backseat of our car and left the town for good. My room felt empty. A hoodie and sweatshirt.
I wonder why.
My room felt empty. Shock. You just moved in. Despite many boxes crowding it. It was it just wasn't the same. And something felt off about the whole town of made upville.
Do you want me to do that?
Yeah, to be the dad.
Aaron, help me with these boxes.
Said Sonic.exe from came my dad's voice from downstairs. Sure, Dad. Just a second. I called back. Of course, he made me carry the last 4 boxes down into the basement while he plugged in the TV and sat down to watch the news. Some missing children, a fire, a dead gas station employee was found without his name tag. You know, just normal news.
Just the normal stuff.
Just normal stuff that happens on the news all the time.
Yeah, the sun's getting angry, you know.
After we're done with this story, we gotta talk about when day breaks.
Yeah. He's been angry.
The sun. I watched for
The
about.
SCP Foundation just revealed itself, and they're declaring war on humanity. Nothing big.
You see, that's what Daybreak should have been, but
Yeah.
that got relegated to like SCP 5236 or whatever the fuck. I watched.
It was literally 5,000.
Damn. I watched for about 2 minutes before I went back upstairs. Once upstairs, I pulled a book from one of the boxes and sat back in the chair. I casually glanced out the window and for an instance, okay, thought that there was a man there before he vanished.
That man just walked away. I guess he kind of been there.
It's almost like people can move from spaces and time.
He's like an anti-T-Rex. He can only move stuff when it's not moving.
His sight is based on non-movement. JC's favorite album is Never. Okay, of course. Where the fuck am I?
Something about there was a guy.
Oh yeah, I see it. I'm here. I continued to stare out the window. I hadn't stared at the trees behind my house before. They were tall. You better fucking not. They were tall, leafy things. You mean like trees?
Yeah.
That stopped before going into the backyard.
Thank God they weren't dead. They saw leaves.
As though afraid to come closer to the house. What? I had not been there yet. I didn't want to. Especially not at night. The trees stopped in my backyard. It's it's completely paranormal. I can't explain it.
That's why we have houses, because it scares the trees into their hiding spots.
The trees would grab you if the houses weren't there to protect you. Don't you know?
I'm here to protect you.
Don't you know that every tree is actually like a super predator? It's the only way.
Like an ant, isn't that what the tree?
Yeah. Yeah, they're all ants. They're all evil. But that's why houses are built of wood. It's like a display of power. We're like, yeah, fuck you. We built this from you.
This is what we did to your lads. Don't come any closer.
Sonic. Okay. Especially not at night. Things in made up town were uneasy, but I managed. And a few weeks later, I ended up getting a small job at a corner store where most of the customers were old, bearded men smoking cigarettes. That's a very specific type of person.
It was a cigarette store. I forgot to mention that.
Yeah, it was the drugstore, so that's kind of just to be expected. One night, just as I was about to leave, my sleazy bastard of a boss stopped me and told me I had to restock the shelves before I could go home. That fucking cunt. How dare he make me restock shelves in this store that I work at?
How dare he ask me to do my job?
I looked around the store, and all of the shelves I thought were full turned out to be empty. I spotted a bug.
The boss just took the stuff off the shelf.
They just got someone just did some Urban scrumping.
Yeah. Mr. Beast just came in, bought all the last packs.
Christ, Mr. Beast. Fucking hell. I spotted a bug on one of them. Not a bug. Bastard. So after a long night of laboring away, most of it being spent mumbling obscenities about my bus under my breath, I feel that, to be honest.
Yeah.
I finally stepped out the door to walk home, seeing as I was the only 17-year-old without a car in the whole town. That
Isn't
seems
it like not having a car more common in the UK?
probably, but also only 17-year-old without a car in the whole town must have been a rich ass town, because most 17-year-olds don't have, a lot of 17-year-olds don't have cars.
Yeah, I mean, I'm 22. I don't have my own car yet.
Gee,
In all honesty.
that's kind of. I mean, to be fair, trains are the future. So.
Yeah, I'm saving up for a train instead.
Yeah, I'm saving up to buy a railroad.
Yeah. It's very expensive. That's why I don't have one yet.
Yeah, it had just rained, so the streets were wet. I say, the streetlights were set. The streetlights set a hypnotizing orange glow into the streets. A thick fog hung over the streets. A lot of streets you discussed. A few blocks away from the store, I began to hear footsteps behind me. Oh boy. At first I ignored them, thinking it may have been an employee with a worse boss than mine. What? Okay.
That wouldn't be my first thought at all.
First thought is a mugger.
Man, I know that sound. It's another employee who hates his boss.
I turned around and they suddenly stopped. Like I had turned them off? What? I tried to see through the fog, but it was too thick. Parentheses.
Oh man, I'm not gonna get kidnapped tonight.
Parentheses. I've seen this scenario 1,000 times in movies. Thanks, bud. I didn't need you to point out that how cliche your story was.
I didn't need you to bring up how you came up with that idea.
I turned to begin walking again, but the footsteps began at the original slow pace. Contrary to the pace, the volume had seemed to grow louder. I turned around again, and a silence greeted me. You know, the villains from Doctor Who. It was terrifying.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh God, you're just Slenderman, but like.
Oh no.
You're just Slenderman, but there's 7 of you.
If SCP can rip us off, we're gonna rip off creepypasta.
Fucking Doctor Who, Jesus. The silence that was overwhelmingly loud. Okay. Well, I yelled out. My shout pierced the silence of the fog, reminding me I was alive. I forgot. Mandatory breathing mode was turned on. He was like, ah!
I almost forgot to breathe.
Oh, it's Toby again.
Yeah.
What do you want? Nothing. No voice called in response. No shadowy figure appeared out of the fog. I turned around and found myself face to face with a man whose smile still haunts my nightmares to this day. His long black hair covered... It was Onision. His long black hair covered his big black ringed eyes as he stared hungrily at me. His white sweatshirt and black dress pants were dirty and covered in mud and an unidentified red substance. I fucking wonder, really.
Is it strawberry jam?
Could perhaps be Kool-Aid of some kind. With a jolting realization, I had a suspicion what it was. Shock. The smile seemed to grow wider as I jumped back in surprise. Do you want to try to do Jeff's voice?
Yeah, do you want to do the backbeat?
Yes.
Or someone
Why else would... What other voice?
Okay, it's late.
He rasped. I don't. His voice sounding like a predator about to pounce. What?
It's really late.
Oh, I, words failed me. What was this monster?
To be fair, that'd probably be my reaction too.
Yeah.
Or something like it.
I'd be like, some random crackhead.
Yeah.
With surprising speed.
But, you know, I don't have any changes.
With surprising speed, he lashed out with his leg, knocking me to the ground. What did he teep kick you? He kicked him in the chest.
Yeah. He was like a cassowary.
In the fucking Jeff the Killer remake, there's a big point that Jeff was in boxing classes before beating up Randy and such. So in this continuity, clearly Jeff learned Muay Thai.
Yeah.
And he just teep kicked this dude to the ground. He's about to elbow the shit out of him.
He doesn't even need his arms anymore.
Yeah. Yeah, nine limbs, bitch. Let's go. The back of my shirt was instantly soaked and muddy. That's a very good detail in this assault to point out. Oh, God, you got my fucking shirt dirty? Come on.
Come on. How hard is it to get this out? Oh, this is my work shirt.
The strange guy put his foot on my chest, preventing me from getting up. He pressed down, and I found it hard to breathe. Yes, kids, just so you know, stepping on someone's chest will immediately immobilize them.
I remembered I could breathe for a second.
Have you
It was
seen?
too late.
Shh, no, it's you.
It's okay. Really? Just go to sleep.
Go to Kip.
Go to sleep.
He raised a hand, and I saw the silver flash of a knife. I made a final, last effort to squirm out from under him. Tried to roll or do anything to escape, but I couldn't move as the blade cut down. I raised my hand and managed to grab his arm. He was strong, but I had surprised him. So...
It's rusty fingers all over again.
Yeah, he's gonna judo throw him out a window and he's gonna immediately die. I tried... I tried to roll again, and this time actually knocked him off me. I got up off the wet pavement and began to run. Wet pavement. It's like wet cement.
I found it really hard to move because it started to dry.
I really like the images. This is like the second story.
Construction site.
Yeah, this is the second story where Jeff the Killer has been like submerged in wet cement. This and Jeff. Yeah, I'm glad you knew. I'm glad you're such a nerd as well that you also know. Yeah. Christ, we need to move on with our lives.
Yeah, we gotta keep this going.
Yeah, I felt a pain. Where the fuck? Oh, wet pavement and began to run. I felt a pain in my chest and found a small cut. The knife had gotten me after all. Fortunately, not very much. I hadn't noticed until right then.
So you got me after all these years, knife.
The man had gotten over the shock. How dare it? Someone actually fought back against Jeff. He was completely surprised.
He's like, hold up. That's never happened before.
Wait, they could do that?
Wait.
I didn't know you could fight.
I thought it'd be an American to fight me first. How'd this person get his fighting back license?
I mean, he's he's from England, so he he knows how to defend knife attacks.
Oh yeah.
He's been in them many times before.
He blocked one of the concrete barriers on the road or whatever.
The man had gotten over the shock and had climbed to his feet. He was chasing after me, shouting inaudible words. You good, Link?
Yeah, what's that?
Okay.
Sorry.
I ran, looking away from him and looking at my feet. I noticed a large, muddy boot print on the front of my shirt.
Why? Right now, are you saying? Are you?
Why are
noticing
you,
that?
yeah, noticing it just now? Maybe it's because he kicked you in the chest.
Yeah. He literally just mentioned it earlier. It's like, oh, it's still there. It hasn't washed off yet.
Oh my god. It's almost like dirt has a tendency to stick to things.
It's almost like this is mud.
I was doing
I like
everything.
how he's mentioned this more than he's mentioned getting stabbed. He immediately noticed this, but then he noticed getting stabbed. What the heck?
I was doing everything I could to lose him. I was going in serpentine and everything.
I'm used to getting stabbed over here.
I was running through yards and jumping over hedges. The world, the world was turning around. The world around me turning into a blur as I ran faster, but not fast enough to escape this man. At one point, he lashed out and grabbed my shirt, but I got away when it ripped. He swore, and I gained a bit of distance. But I was tired.
So he was just like, fuck.
Damn it.
God dang it.
You fucking dickwad. He would soon be upon me. I devised a plan, a sneaky little plan, that if I failed, I would. Oh, that's a hell of a plan. But of course,
that could happen is me dying. I kind of wish this plan was like, I got a plan, he just dies. Because I thought, at first I read it, that failed.
I had a plan. It failed and I died. I don't know why that one got me so good. It's wishful thinking.
Laughing Jack coming in.
It's wishful thinking to like pretend that he's dead already.
Yeah.
But of course, I was probably going to die anyway. At the next large wooden fence, I grabbed the top and hurled myself over the top. Thanks for specifying which word you hurled yourself.
Here's my really smart plan. I'm gonna keep doing the same thing I've been doing the whole time.
The smiling man was following me, but I was on top of the fence and caught him off guard with a kick to the face before dropping into the yard behind the fence. Oh shit! Oh yeah, I can. My brilliant strategy: punch him in the face. No one's ever thought about this before.
I've never seen this coming.
Like this, it's like that scene from the Avengers where it's like, "Do you have a plan of attack?" Yeah, my plan is to attack.
It's like, oh god, what's that crappy Nick Cage movie where he dresses up as a bear and just punches someone in the face?
Fucking Wicker Man.
Yeah.
It's the Wicker Man. He just punches Jessica in the face.
Wait, I got an idea.
That's the only joke the Nostalgia Critic has ever made that was genuinely funny. Gummy bears, they're here, there, and in your face. I devised the plan. Oh, where the fuck was I? I was lucky. There was a small outdoor patio with a few chairs, a table, and a black grill that smelled faintly of burgers. I was distracted by the burger smell and he stabbed me. But not the fact he was stabbed.
Yeah.
I went onto the patio and ducked behind the grill. Just as I got behind it, the smiling man climbed over the fence and continued running, chasing what was not there. He vanished over another fence.
It's just like that Rick and Morty skit. You can run, but you can't hide, bitch. Hey, Rick, why don't we just try hiding this time? It works.
As he ran, I could hear his shout clearly.
Nobody escapes from Jeff the Killer.
I suppose they just had. Nobody escapes. Well, I did.
Until today.
After lying in wait behind the grill for a while, waiting for this Jeff to reappear, I decided he was gone and hurried home. I made sure to stay away from the streetlights, though. Okay. When finally I arrived home, I went inside and called for my father. Dad, you in here? You in here? Dad. I walked into the kitchen and found a note on the table written in my father's handwriting.
We're back to Frampton for a day or two to settle some business. There's food in the fridge. Well, yeah, okay, hold up. Smile.
Yes.
They're in Frampton.
What?
I say in Frampton because they moved from the other place.
No, they moved to Noislum, I think.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they moved to
I guess I
Noislum.
didn't care enough to pay attention.
I mean, fair enough. It's all seemed too convenient. First that Jeff guy, and now Dad was gone. For a moment.
Isn't it strange that I've never seen my dad, Jeff the Killer, in the same spot at the same time?
Oh my god, his dad is Batman.
Oh god.
Went back. Oh, where the fuck? I felt like something was going to crash through the ceiling and rip me apart. Very odd feeling to feel at that moment. I wanted to fall to the floor and hide in the light, away from the dark. I wanted to. A tiny laugh came from outside. I looked. You good?
Yeah, should I laugh?
Yeah. I looked up from the note, which I had been absently staring at, and looked at the window. Slowly, I crept over to it. Cautiously, peeking outside, I was greeted by another man standing outside. Thank you for... This guy has a real fucking problem with using the same word twice in a sentence.
Just to make sure you guys understand me.
When I was peeking outside, I saw someone who was outside. Fucking magical, thank you. I wouldn't have put that together if you hadn't told me. Where is he looking at? I was greeted by another man outside. My first thought was that Jeff had found me, but I quickly realized I was mistaken. I mean, that's fair enough. They do basically look exactly the same.
Yeah. Oh, man. So meta to point out the fact they look similar.
Is Link snorting Jello or something? Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I like an instant pudding in my nose.
Damn. That sounds disgusting.
I didn't mean to make it sound so gross, but it ended up sounding gross.
Yeah. I quickly realized I was mistaken. The man was smiling, laughing, now that he had been seen by me. But he resembled more of a clown than a dirty homeless man like Jeff had appeared. His hair was long and black. Oh, Jesus. His hair was long and black, so it was easy to mistake him for Jeff. And his face was nearly the same shade of white. His nose was oddly shaped like a cone, and his arms seemed long. I noticed his sleeves were striped, and his clothes seemed old-fashioned or cheap.
Those aren't the same thing.
Yeah, those are very different different things.
One or the other, dude. It can't be both. Well, it can be, but...
Yeah, but like usually old-fashioned are old-fashioned things, especially how Laughing Jack is like described like as a Victorian era clown. Yeah, those would definitely not be cheap.
Yeah, it's not, in this context, it's not the same thing. He's saying old-fashioned or cheap.
Yeah. The man was smiling. Oh, where the fuck? I noticed his pants had a patch on them. He had ruffles around his neck, like a clown would. He laughed louder. And I wanted to press my hands to my ear for some reason. I couldn't, like, it sounds like TV static is coming through your fucking...
Sorry, that's my air conditioner.
Thank you. For some reason, I
Turn it
couldn't.
off.
I mean, it would be good for the recording.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
I'll just sweat
Yeah,
my face off.
thank God. He laughed louder, and I wanted to press my hands to my ears. For some reason, I couldn't. Instead, 2 words escaped my mouth. Laughing Jack. He laughed.
I'll buy it.
Yeah.
I was hoping so hard that you referenced the juggling girl, juggling Lily.
Yeah. I mean, that would have been. Oh, damn. I'm actually ashamed that I didn't do that.
Like, I was like, I can't say it or else it'll ruin it.
He laughed harder now, before vanishing. I blinked, startled by his sudden disappearance. Ron had been telling the truth? My friend had been trying to warn me, and he was locked up in an asylum. This Jack person pushed any thoughts of Jeff out of my mind. Jack knew where I lived, and he could get inside while I was sleeping. Oh,
Or when
Bria?
you're awake.
Brian Young says Vast Tech. I'm pretty sure that is a bot, so I will not respond. I said,
Fast tech, a bot.
suspicious. I sat on my bed upstairs, flinching at the tiniest sound, and tried not to fall asleep. I woke up the next morning. Didn't do very good at that, huh, man? Sunlight flooding through my window. My Saturday progressed normally, my father never playing a big role in them anyway. Wait, I love this line. I logged onto the internet and immediately Googled Laughing Jack. This'll help.
Some of these guys, these guys named Bad Creepypasta, who are these?
Yeah, no, they find this like rabbit hole and like we appear in it.
Yeah.
He finds this stream.
Laughing Jack versus Beetlejuice, the rap battle.
We gotta watch some fucking terrible fucking creepypasta rap battles one day.
Yes, I agree, 100%. One day when I finally get my microphone working. Or not working.
So wait. In the context of this story, because he just says that I found various pictures of the thing I had seen, but no stories or experiences about him. I slumped back into the computer chair before leaning over the computer again to type in Jeff the Killer. So wait. So his friend was hauled off for believing Laughing Jack was something involving Laughing Jack, basically. But Laughing Jack is a thing, like an established entity in this world, right?
Right.
And like people are like have taken pictures of him on the internet and stuff.
Yeah.
So wouldn't the police know that? Because this dude just did a Google search. He was like, oh shit, yeah, there's Laughing Jack.
I thought I said he didn't get any results.
No, it said,
never
yeah,
mind.
no, it's all pictures of him. Found various pictures.
I'm imagining what I want to hear. Sorry.
Yeah, yeah, no, he just doesn't exist. I want to live in a world where Laughing Jack doesn't exist.
Thank God I live in this world.
This time, I got more results. Mostly pictures of
That
him.
wasn't real.
Well, he was not real, sadly.
Yeah.
Mostly pictures of him. A few of him obviously drawn by a lovesick, prepubescent girl. Oh, that's a Nina reference, isn't it? Don't
I
forget.
thought it was like any of his fangirls.
Yeah, but it's like because he specifies a lovesick, prepubescent girl, so it's like yeah, that's probably Nina. And if it is, fuck you for bringing Nina into this story.
Stop making Nina canon.
Stop! It's not. It will never work.
Yeah.
Nina will never work.
I was kind of hoping he would just mention Bad Creepypasta reading apart.
Yeah, no, that'd be funny.
It's a dark author video.
Yeah, Dark Author. Ooh, actually, we should bring you and Dark Author onto a stream together. That'd be
Yeah, we should have us fight.
Link versus Dark Author.
Yeah, rap battle.
600 subscribers versus literally 0 because you don't have a YouTube channel yet.
Literally nobody who's trying to become famous.
Yeah. I mean, not like your friend on Instagram, at least.
Yeah, let's not talk about him. Let's not dox him.
I found stories about him, though. Old news articles and such about his victims. This man left quite a trail, and his escape was rare. And my escape was rare. I laughed at the thought of him somewhere, possibly right at that moment in broad daylight, still climbing over fences trying to catch me. So did this guy just...
Oscar was a sneaky bastard.
My comments. A lovesick, creepy best. Get Creeps McPots out of here. So many people in the creepypasta community are terrible, aren't they? Just a whole bunch of sex pests.
And Nazis.
And Nazis, yes.
And whatever,
Yeah, at least they're not
I
Sargon.
was trying to make him a joke, never mind.
At least they're not Sargon of Akkad.
Yeah.
Man. Sad times. No, I mean, by the way, when I say that, I mean... I don't mean Creeps McPots, at least... Creeps McPots is definitely worse than Sargon of Akkad. Where was I? Prepubescent girl. Yeah, but if so, this kid didn't call the police.
That's weird because like the second you call the police, Jeff just leaves.
Yeah, the second you call the police, crime stops in the creepypasta universe.
Yeah.
My internet died at that moment, silencing my laughter. A quiet laugh, unlike mine, came from outside. I looked towards the window and found that it seemed to come from the forest near my backyard. Jack was back.
I'm Jack Black. He's back.
Yeah, no, that's his canon voice now.
Jack Black just jumped.
I was
I'm here to save you from the other Jack.
I was outside and halfway to the forest before I began to think rationally. This thing teleported last time, didn't it? What would I do if I found it? Wait, what the fuck? Why'd you go outside to begin with?
Call the cops.
I turned around back towards my house and froze. Jack was standing in the doorway. The laugh started again, and I found myself running into the forest to escape it.
Did you leave?
Only then did I realize I was tricked. It had me now. The forest had fooled me into coming towards it.
Who would have thought I would be safer in my own home than this forest I know nothing about?
The forest was...
Oh no, you were right. The houses do protect you from the trees.
The forest was composed of large leafy trees. You mean like a forest?
Yeah, the good thing this forest had been burnt down.
The forest was comprised mostly of shrubs.
I could see his eyes because the shrubs were big.
The water was clear enough to see the outlines of fish swimming around. I could see...
pretty hungry.
I could only run on the side of the river, ducking under branches and swerving between thick trees. Thick trees, huh? And found it's strikingly similar to the forest where Ron and I had previously met. Until I followed the river to the end of the forest. It ended in a strange way, near a small...
End, you know, like that other one.
You know, the one that was infinite and kept going.
Yeah.
The slender forest. The trees opened up to allow a large portion of sunlight in. The river ran off in a form of a waterfall into a lake. I definitely hadn't seen this on the way into town. Okay.
No, right. A form of waterfall.
A form of waterfall, yeah, the many kinds.
Yeah.
The one that goes...
Which one?
The one that goes upwards into the sky.
Yeah. The reverse gravity waterfall.
Laughing Jack Black. Don't you get it, man? You don't understand the young homicidal cosmic entities. Oh shit, now I'm imagining Tenacious D, but it's Jeff the Killer and Jack Laughing Jack. Jack Black, Laughing Jack, and the other dude, what's his name?
Oh, from Kung Fu Panda.
Poe from you know, it's kind of the two members of Tenacious D, Jack Black and Poe from Kung Fu Panda.
There we go. That was it.
Yeah. Where the fuck? I walked to the edge of the cliff, the very edge of the cliff, and looked down. It really wasn't that high up, about the same height as the highest diving board at the public school at my former town. Okay, I didn't need to know. During a warm summer day, I could have swam there and used the jump.
Diving board at my public school.
It seemed like fun. Oh, a hand roughly seized my shoulder. I screamed as it pulled me back from the cliff and towards ... Jack Black. It's my fan. I'm your biggest fan. I'll see you, Raptor. Goodbye. Where the fuck? His arm had somehow stretched to grab me. He was roaring with laughter now as he squeezed harder and harder while pulling me closer and closer. Please stop. I was waiting for my bones to break. Okay, cool. As he... Can we get... I got lunch in like an hour. Come on, man. You're holding me up. As he pulled me closer, I saw one way of escape. Jack's mouth was open wide, but I didn't stick around to see what he was going to do. I lashed out with a kick to his side. Oh, he's also been training Muay Thai.
Yeah.
When I got close enough. I can't believe that story is so fucking stupid. Where the fuck? Kicked to his side when I got close enough, pushing myself away from him towards the cold waters of the river. For a horrible moment, his fingers were still in my shoulder before the grip loosened and I fell into the water and quickly submerged. The water was near... Okay.
The water near a waterfall.
You mean the one you... The water near a waterfall is always a current going towards the waterfall. No shit, dude. This hurt.
Wow, this waterfall actually does something.
I was underwater and then I was falling, and then I was underwater again. Yes, that is indeed what falling off a waterfall is probably like. Thank you. Thank you for explaining this to me. Holy Christ.
I wonder if, like, the UK has any, like, big waterfalls that are survivable.
I'm pretty sure that does, but I don't care. I swam to shore. Oh. I quickly swam back to the surface and took in breath after breath. I was alive, yes. I looked back to see the cliff and saw Jack at the top, glaring down at me. Because he was magic, he immediately teleported down to me and started stabbing me. But he didn't do that. He didn't do that because plot convenience.
Yeah, he didn't extend his arm to reach me.
Yes. I swear. Yeah, because you mean the thing he just did like 2 minutes?
Yeah.
I don't think he was laughing anymore. I swam to shore and went back home. The walk back made me realize how empty the town seemed. Hardly anyone on the sidewalks. And the streets seemed devoid of cars.
Oh
what the
fuck?
I looked up into the sky and saw the first bits of dust coming over the horizon. The moon had already appeared in the sky. Not the moon.
No.
It will reflect the sun's angry light.
Oh no, he melted the moonlight too.
By the time I got home, it was night, and I walked up the sidewalk and heard a faint music. Pop Goes the Weasel, coming from my house.
He just runs in real quick. Oh yeah, this is my tune.
This is my jam, boys. Somebody slammed into me, knocking me to the ground. I heard a laugh that wasn't Jack's, and received a blow to the face when I tried to look up.
Oh, you lost me. Oh, God. You lost me, huh?
Someone spat in my face before hitting me again. I raised my hands in a weak defense and tried to get back to my feet. I was pushed down again and kicked a few times. I managed to look up and saw Jeff towering over me. He held a knife. He held his knife and looked down on me with his terrible eyes. This was the moment I knew. But Jeff, what? This was the moment I knew. But Jeff suddenly disappeared.
I knew he would do that.
I suspected he would do something like this.
I figured out your patterns.
It's like one of those stupid fucking anime characters that like like can predict shit.
It's like compared to Pokemon. You gotta predict what they're gonna do.
This was the moment I knew, but Jeff suddenly disappeared. I looked over towards. I looked over towards my house and saw Jack standing there, looking angry as hell. His arms were outstretched, and I saw that he had pushed Jeff off me. Jeff ended up in the middle of the street, laying sprawled out. He got to his feet, bewildered. Holy Christ. Jack walked calmly into the streets. Stepping into the streets. His arms going back to him like a tape measure. The two faced each other and began to fight. No, like, witty dialogue between these two, I suppose.
It's like that JoJo meme, they're walking towards each other.
Oh ho ho, you're approaching me. I have to get close if I'm gonna kick your ass.
You got stretchy arms.
Jack lashed out with his knife, and Jack ducked, hitting Jeff in the leg and knocking him down. Jack's arms came back and wrapped around Jeff's neck, lifting him off the ground and into the air. His arms and legs flailed desperately, and he actually managed to cut Jack in the striped arm with his knife. Jack's grip... Oh, Christ. Jack's grip loosened, and Jeff kicked him in his cone nose. Jeff fell to the ground, rubbing his neck. Jack staggered back, and the two faced each other again. I had gotten off the sidewalk and watched in fascination. Jack's arms swung out to the side, hitting Jeff and knocking him to the ground where he didn't move. Jack, I guess he's dead.
Finally.
I am still unaware of what's going on. I am too, Raptor.
I think the real problem is that none of us care enough to pay attention.
Yeah, no, this is heinous, isn't it?
I have something to bring up after we're done, but let's just get to it for now.
Okay. And knocking him to the ground where he did. Jack turned toward me and grinned, giggling a little. I came back to myself and realized that both of them wanted to kill me. No shit, dude. I ran towards my house.
That's just being stupid.
What?
He just now realized that.
Yeah, just... I think now... Not that I see both of them at the same time, it's like... I suppose they do want to kill me.
Jeff stabbed you, dude. Come on.
Jeff...
How are you even standing around in the first place? I would have ran the second they started fighting.
Yeah, knocking him to the ground. Jack, they both wanted to kill me. I turned and ran towards my house, not going inside, but into the backyard where I found Jack standing. How he gotten there so fast? Maybe because he can teleport, like you mentioned earlier. Does this character have like short-term memory loss or something?
He's a goldfish. He's forgetting stuff like every 5 seconds.
Oh Christ, I just forgot. Jack's arms lashed out at me and grabbed me around the middle. The middle? You could have said your chest out. I was
I know the thing, the middle.
You know, that section of you?
Yeah.
I was lifted into the air, but before he could do anything, Jeff appeared behind him and stuck his knife into Jack's back. I fell to the ground and looked up in time to see Jeff repeatedly stabbing Jack.
You look like a clown, but yeah,
He laughed. That's a very stupid thing to laugh at, to be honest. Jack's
Jeff makes really bad jokes in his last name, like hate.
yeah, he's like the Joker, but worse in literally every way.
Yeah. Jeff the Killer, if you're listening to this, you're lame.
I'm glad. Yeah, no, we're starting beef with Jeff the Killer. It's gonna end with us having a boxing match.
We're trying to get some clout.
I'm trying to like spawn that. If I beat Jeff in a boxing match, maybe I'll get to fight Conor McGregor.
Yeah. Oh, you don't impress him enough.
Yeah. Jesus. Right, you look like okay. Jack swung out at Jeff and caught him under the chin.
You are smiling, and you look like the clown.
Jesus Christ.
I can't. I'm trying to do like the
Nelson.
raspy, but it hurts my voice every time I do it.
Try to do Nelson Mandela.
Oh.
You look.
You are. I can't do Nelson.
Yeah.
At least I'd have to study his voice.
Yeah, no. Just do some stupid random bullshit.
Is this Jack or Jack?
That's Jack, yeah.
That's Jack.
Yeah.
You are smiling, and you look like a clown.
He retorted. Yeah, that's a good voice for him, to be honest. He retorted, mocking Jeff's appearance and seemingly unhurt by the stab wounds. He threw himself at Jack. Jeff threw himself at Jack, and the two were fighting and exchanging insults.
You're going news, Mr. Fantastic Wannabe. I've seen scary things in the box eyes that kept me in.
This is so fucking stupid.
This is like the worst part of comics.
Yeah, I suppose so. Jeff and Jack were going into the forest. Jeff ran ahead and Jack followed. I heard them yelling from inside the trees. Oh, the trees caught them.
Yeah.
The trees ate them.
Yeah, we established they're living.
Yeah,
That's why you need houses.
they're cannibalistic. Yes, they ate the trees. Ate them.
No, they're predatory.
Yes, they're predatory. Thank you.
Yeah. Well,
I ran out. Why would you run after them? I followed. Jeff's knife slashed
we have to know what happens.
Jeff's knife slashed at the trees and cut a few leaves from the branches. Jack's arm seemed useless with all the foliage in the way. Yeah, so are the trees actually attacking them?
Yeah. Is Jeff like Swamp Thing? Is he manipulating the trees to fight them?
And he somehow managed to grab Jeff by the back of his white sweatshirt and throw him against a tree.
I don't think. I'm sorry to interrupt you, but I don't think an all-powerful like cosmic being would have problems with trees getting in his way.
Cosmic entity is, I believe, he is described. He self-describes himself as. And through.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Cosmic entity.
He said to this stupid like poor orphan boy in the 1900s. I ran after them. Yeah, he definitely knows what both those words are.
Yeah.
I ran after them trying to find the two when I was knocked to the ground. I gave a yelp of surprise and thought one of them had decided to kill me. What? Oh, it's Aaron. It's him.
Aaron. Hi, Aaron. It's me.
What the hell? Ron? What the hell?
What the who?
Ron released me and wipes.
What's that? Jeff, and now Ron.
I hadn't read it ahead. I'm actually that voice choice was not intentional.
Oh, dang.
Ron released me and wiped sweat from his forehead. My friend had gotten away from the mental place. The mental place. And followed me to Noise Slood. That's different from how you spelled it earlier. Jesus, this story's fucking long. Nope, never mind. It is. It's the same way.
Still doesn't exist.
Still doesn't exist.
Or is misspelled.
Followed me to made up Phil. I looked around and realized we were next to the river. What are you doing? Oh, that's you. Never mind.
Okay. Like, what are you doing?
Ron silent. He shouted,
You'll get hurt.
Ron. Ron.
I told you Jack would come for you.
There's this guy called Jeff.
Come on, we need to get out of here.
Ron silenced all my attempts to explain, but I tried one last time. They're fighting. Link.
I don't think they're fighting is wrong. I think it's...
No, I said they're fighting.
Is there someone after that for you? Because it's not for me.
No, it's you. Oh, jeez, I'm an idiot. I was cut off by Jack crashing out of the trees.
You just wanted us to get through it faster.
Yeah, no, I genuinely just forgot. I'm the one reading. Jack suddenly crashing out of the trees and appearing next to us. He seemed to have gotten hit and was on his knees in the dirt. Wait, what?
I brought this close McEntony to his knees.
This is so fucking stupid. Yeah, he raised his head a little and turned towards us. His eyes found Ron and he grinned. Jeff appeared now and kicked Jack in the head, knocking him back and pushing him into the dark river water. The river seemed deeper than I had thought. You were literally in it.
I'll be right back again, sorry.
Oh, jeez. Leave me in the fucking lurch. Oh, Christ. Okay. I'll just soldier on. Deeper than before. Jack's arms came out before he did, and grabbed Jeff's leg. Jeff was pulled into the river, and various bubbles came to the surface. I tore away from Ron and ran alongside the river again. Ron was following me. Jeff broke through the water and crawled to shore. Jack appeared on the other side of the river next to both of us. What? Next to us. Both were soaking wet and dripping water. You know, maybe because they were in a fucking river. Jeff's wet hair clung to the back of his sweatshirt. I noticed as he made his way to the other side of the river via a fallen tree to face Jack again. The two fought again, punching and kicking, and I just realized where we were. The cliff. A sprawling mass of heads, flailing arms. What? Sprawling mass of heads and flailing arms. The two never stopped fighting as they went over the side of the cliff and fell into the water below. Ron and I stood there, staring down in the water for a while before we made our way back to my house. Dad returned the next day, and although he was surprised to see Ron, he told me we were moving back to Frampton. I was glad, and I have seen neither Jack nor Jeff since that night. Ron had to go back to the hospital, but got out in a short amount of time. Things were mostly the same between us. Mostly. Bean Daddy, you never fail to make me chuckle. Things are never the same between us. Although everything seems okay, I wonder if it really is. Ron said that as he left the hospital for the last time, a man was being brought in who was screaming about someone named Jack. A nurse remarked that the man said he kept hearing laughing. A family was found murdered in my town. A message found on the wall written in blood was, "Go to sleep." I have no doubts that they are coming closer to me. But what if they ended the fight? What if they were ... working together? Pop Goes the Weasel is playing outside my window, and I hear laughter. Not just any laughter, but the laughter of two friends who are sharing a private and magnificent joke. Okay. Our request from pitcher H311 man. Fuck you. I was going to put a request. You missed it. The end is was there.
I heard part of it. I heard like they started working together.
Oh yeah, it was like the end of. Oh wait. Oh, there's a thingy at the end. I was going to put a request in the title, but I thought that may have spoiled it a little. Jack and Jeff the Killer are two monsters fighting it out, as told by the unluckiest guy in the world. You turning on your air conditioner again? You good, Link?
Yeah.
Okay. Spell noise lude.
Backwards.
Yeah. How do you? What does that say? Delusion. Oh.
It's delusion.
Oh, it's because the town's not real, I suppose. Because it's empty.
That's so funny.
That doesn't make any sense, though. Why would they move there?
Do you get it?
Who fucking cares?
It was all in their head. Laughing Jack and Jeff aren't real.
Wow.
The main protagonist killed Ron. I don't know the main protagonist's name. I really don't care about him.
Okay, so there's a couple comments. Crazy for Anime 2 comments. This is awesome, smiley face. When I got to the part where Aaron escaped LJ and then was tackled by Jeff before making it home, I was waiting for Aaron to yell, you got to be kidding me, lol. Did an excellent job writing this. Everything seemed to flow perfectly, smiley face. So, that was awful. That was really, really awful.
Can I mention something?
Yes, you can.
This story for a little while at least kind of follows the same formula as like Jeff versus the Rake.
Yeah.
You notice that?
I was noticing that too, yeah. It's like Jeff the Killer versus Laughing Jack versus this other guy named Aaron, apparently.
But not even that though. Like, Laughing Jack shows up at the beginning, aka the Rake.
Yeah.
And then he meets Jeff.
Yeah.
And then it's like, oh my god, the guy's back.
Yeah. It's fucking... Maybe, oh my god, it's almost like these stories aren't original at all.
It's almost like these stories are plagiarizing after...
Plagiarizing each other.
I can't talk.
This was terrible. This was terrible. For many reasons.
I will say this. Remember how I said I might have read this when I was younger? When I listened to a reading? Yeah. Okay, it wasn't the same one. This is actually worse than the one I remember listening to.
Well, I'm not shocked by that conclusion, to be honest. This isn't a very good like thing to compare anything to be honest. In fact, honestly, I think this might be the worst story of the night.
Oh, it's definitely the worst. It's just so boring. It goes on forever.
Yeah, no, fucking...
I'd rather something be, like, funny or, like, bad that I can make fun of it instead of something super long and nothing happens.
It's like... Because juggling Lily, that's funny. That's normal Deviantart OC bullshit where it's funny nonsense. Just Evolution's just a 4chan post about some guy who really hates...
He thought Hitler was right.
Yeah, and this story is just Jeff the Killer versus the Rake, but longer and stupider and honestly less funny.
I'm gonna go and say it's worse.
Yeah, no, this is worse than Jeff the Killer versus the Rake.
I don't know if it's worse. It's probably not. I mean, it's worse than Jeff versus Freddy in the sense that it just goes out of weapon.
Yeah, no, I don't. If I had to read Jeff the Killer versus anyone, frankly, you know what's hilarious? Of all the fucking Jeff the Killer versus ones, I think Jeff the Killer versus Slender Man is actually probably the best one.
It is really the best one.
Because what's the competition? Jeff the Killer versus Michael Myers, Jeff the Killer versus Jack, Jeff the Killer versus the Rake. Oh, Jeff the Killer versus Jane is so fucking terrible, dude. It goes
I
on.
actually used to like Jeff versus Slender Man, but I've grown up.
But I've grown wiser in my days.
Yeah, I've admitted my sins.
Yeah, so that was heinous. It goes on for fucking ever. The jokes, there wasn't anything really entertaining about it. The story is pretty fucking, like, written. It's every Jeff the Killer versus story you've ever read. It's not entertaining. The main character is a twat. The fucking... There's so many...
Next time we read Burner versus Jeff the Killer.
Oh, could you imagine?
Honestly, it'd probably at least be funny.
Yeah. There's so many non sequiturs in this story where it just goes off on a tangent for no reason.
Yeah.
Like, what happened?
What happened to his dad? Because I don't think I was there for that. Was it revealed?
His dad just came home. Like, they moved back. But, like...
So, he thought his dad, something fishy was going on with his dad. No, he really just had to leave for a little.
Yeah, and then they moved back home. What I'm shocked... What I'm, like...
Sorry, go on.
The scene that I'm really, like, I don't understand is fucking... fucking... The scene in the store where he gets a job. Also, wait. If the fucking... If the town's a delusion, why does he have a boss? Is his boss in on it? Like, he's working with Laughing Jack. He's working with Laughing Jack and Jeff the Killer to make this, like, fake town work. Just Slenderman was the trees.
Yeah.
I'm shocked Slenderman didn't show up in this story.
He might as well, though.
Yeah.
It would have been kind of funny, at least, I guess.
Yeah. I'm shocked he wasn't the trees. But, yeah, no, this was terrible.
Has anyone done, like, Laughing Jack versus Slenderman?
There's fucking definitely one out there, and I'm not reading it.
I mean, it'd probably be at least funnier than this.
Yeah. I wonder if there's a Zalgo versus Slenderman story out there.
Probably.
I mean, that's every single, like, fan fiction, like, creepypasta story, like, plot line anyway.
Yeah.
Fucking not Clockwork, fucking Voice Box. That's Clockwork, Voice Box. They're all merging together in my brain.
Yeah.
I've been doing this for too long.
Bad creepypastas for too long.
Yeah. Fucking... In Voice Box, it's Slenderman versus Zalgo. In, like, every single fanfiction I've ever seen, it's Slenderman versus Zalgo. Fucking Poopsie the Killer even had Slenderman versus Zalgo as the third part. It's just like... What?
Sorry, go on.
No.
I forgot to bring up a point. Madness wasn't the worst written of the ones tonight, but I just could not care about it.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, no, worst written was definitely fucking Juggling Lily, because I'm pretty sure this was written by a 10-year-old.
I'm pretty sure Juggling Lily was trying to, like, create a bunch of side characters with weird names.
Yeah. Creepypasta, It's Just Evolution is probably the best written, but it's also, like, the least...
We can't say it's the best, because this dude might be
might be a Nazi, yes.
Yeah.
So, no,
and
the
honestly,
best... The best is definitely fucking Juggling Lily. It's probably Juggling Lily, then, just by default, where it's like, you can't give it to the one...
disqualified, we can't give it to this one.
The other one's about a Nazi, and this one is just the worst thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, this was horrendous.
We read a story by a possible Nazi, and this was worse.
This is genuinely made me more uncomfortable. It just made me want to stop reading more.
Yeah.
Okay. So, those were 3 terrible fucking Deviantart stories. I still have like 15 more of these. I hate everything.
And one day the writer of Sodor Fallout is gonna finally finish the story so I can read that.
Oh yeah, we're definitely reading that Thomas the Tank Engine story eventually.
Yeah.
But before
it's
we...
gonna be fun.
before we leave tonight, when day breaks, huh? That's a story. Yes.
Oh yes, yeah. One day breaks the thing.
If
That
you,
is.
if the one person that's actually, oh, Raptor's still listening. So Raptor, if you know some SCPs, I know you've been on streams.
Yeah, one day breaks.
You've been on streams where there's been SCPs read with Gemma and stuff. SCPs are cool, but there are some that are just not too good, and one of those is One Day Breaks. Yes, which we will read in the future, or
Yay!
we will discuss, because I don't think there's actually like a fucking like main story for One Day
Oh no,
Breaks.
there is.
Oh, there is.
Yeah, well, at least there's one that was written by the creator. Yeah.
Yeah, probably.
Yes, there's a main story. Yeah.
Okay.
But it's
Okay. So Raptor doesn't know what One Day Breaks is. Okay, so One Day Breaks. I'm gonna do an entire video discussing One Day Breaks, because there's a lot of components that have to go into it. Like I'll have to explain what 001 is and why that's not a thing, and also
it's gonna be an hour-long video.
Yeah, like an hour-long analyst about why One Day Breaks is just the worst. But essentially, it's a storyline within SCP that takes place in an alternate universe where. Okay, so this is.
Brace yourself, it's very exciting.
Okay, so 001 is it's nothing. I'm not going to explain 001 actually. So it's a different reality where the sun is alive and it's angry at humanity.
Yeah,
I
for
think
some reason.
like there's no real explanation given, and I don't understand why the sun would be angry at people to begin with. What have people ever actually done to the sun?
Except worship it.
Yeah. So the sun is angry at people, so it uses its sun magic to change sunlight. So when it shines upon the earth, it turns everything that's organic into goo monsters.
Yes.
And Raptor is no longer watching, so this explanation is not necessary.
You want to just call it and discuss how stupid it is alone?
Wait, no, he's typing. So the live chat thing.
She was like, man, you're right, this is bad, bye.
The live chat thing is just lying to me apparently. But so the sun turns living things into goo monsters, and this is instant, by the way. Is as soon as you're in sunlight, you are immediately goo monster.
Yeah, you start changing the goo.
And there's no way to defend against being a goo monster. So even other SCPs become goo monsters when they're exposed to the sunlight.
Even if you kill yourself, you still become a goo monster that somehow has your memories.
Yes. Which I
Doesn't make...
I don't even want to get into that, to be honest. But here's the thing. So the only way to stop it is to essentially just avoid sunlight at all costs. Like,
yeah, the only way to avoid it is to like kill yourself in an area that isn't ever going to be found by a goo monster.
Or be under the fuck. So here's the thing. So he's asking if it's on the official, if it's an official SCP. Technically, kinda, but also no, because it's a 001.
Yeah, it's not like a main universe SCP, but it's a very popular.
Yeah, it's a very popular.
SCP. Like, it's very well known.
Yeah, it's not something the site approves of, but it's definitely something the fan base approves of for some fucking reason. It's an SCP-001, so it's not canon. It's not technically canon. it's just kind of like, ooh, this might be it.
Yeah.
But the fucking it being a 001 thing is also a thing, because like, why would this be the first SCP? Like,
I think, if I remember correctly from reading the story, the reason why they renamed it 001 was just because of how dangerous it was.
But that doesn't make any fucking sense. It's a different
I know.
universe. In the fucking SCP-5000.
Wait, hold up. What Daybreaks doesn't make any sense? Stop the presses.
But fucking okay, so Daybreaks. My personal problem isn't the fact that it's just a terrible fucking concept and doesn't make any sense. My problem with it is the fact it would work so much better, infinitely better, in fact, if it wasn't an SCP.
Yeah, because
you see what I mean?
Sorry,
Like,
you can keep going.
because SCP, the entire like purpose of the SCP, like SCP as a franchise, like SCP,
Organization, whatever.
yeah, as like a thing, is for people to make cool monsters and stuff and then show them off. Basically, it's basically like a Wikipedia of cool things that people thought up. And SCP When Day Breaks is basically like it's a world like wide event in SCP. So you would expect it to like it's like a apocalyptic event. So you would expect stories about it to like, or you would expect it to like involve itself in the main concept of the universe, which is that there's a bunch of cool fucking monsters out there.
Yeah.
But instead, SCPs just die immediately.
Yeah.
So it essentially just takes the cool thing that you like about this universe and smacks it in the fucking head, like pantses it and throws it out the window. It's like, nah, they're goo monsters now.
Yeah, you bring up a good point, because like some of the few stories that I've read involving When Day Breaks actually like involve like the interaction with other SCPs. Like there's at least 3 ones that at least kind of like I've seen, but
it's just hard.
You know,
it feels out of place for the SCP, because like I agree, Raptor, that it's the premise is dumb. It's a stupid premise in general, but I think it would work better as its own thing, because SCP by how it works it's dependent on the cool monsters that exist within the world. So just having a setting where none of those monsters are important at all, it just feels like strangely cheap. Like that makes no sense. Why would people like this?
Raptor, if you want an example, apparently the creator When Day Breaks, or Bio found this a while ago, apparently the creator answered in like a Reddit comment if SCP-682 was affected by the sun. He said
yeah. So even creatures that like have regeneration or are cosmic in origin or completely bullshit magic, it doesn't matter. They're all fucking goo. Immediately goo monsters.
There are people who will argue that 173 is goo even though he's a statue.
Like it
because
does.
He's technically alive.
Yeah, but that doesn't make any fucking sense.
Yeah, that was like, what?
That's why I really like the concept of the Allosaurus skeleton. Is just like a roaming, just roaming carnivore that kills everything.
Just eats the goo.
Just eats the goo, because what's the goo gonna do? It's a fucking T-Rex, basically.
Yeah. Bio, do you want to bring up the Leviathan?
Oh, yes, I do. I was actually just about to bring the Leviathan. So here's my main argument for why SCP-001 doesn't work in the setting. And when I do this video, I'm definitely going to spend like an entire segment talking about this. Just because it's the best point I can make, where it's like SCP-001 When Day Breaks doesn't work because it doesn't involve the SCP universe. It just wipes everything clean and pretends like there wouldn't be massive ramifications for this thing. So the Leviathan, if you haven't heard, is an SCP that exists in the ocean. So, like most SCPs that live in the ocean wouldn't be affected by 001 when day breaks because they're in the ocean. It's far enough down where they wouldn't be affected by sunlight. However, the Leviathan is noted as having pieces of its back exposed as islands above sea level. So it would be exposed to sunlight and it would be turned into goo. The problem with that is SCP, the Leviathan, is the size of a continent.
Yeah.
So as soon as the day breaks, the problem wouldn't even be like, oh no, the sun is angry. The problem would mostly be there's a goo monster the size of India roaming around the planet now.
And whenever the goo monsters meet like another pile of goo, they fuse together from a bigger pile of goo.
So even if there wasn't even if the Leviathan didn't exist, there would still be just a gigantic goo monster.
Yeah.
But this Leviathan one completely fucks it over because, like, it'd be the size of a continent.
Yeah, like,
and
there's no surviving that.
There's nothing you can do at that point. Also, my biggest problem with the Leviathan argument or the Leviathan inconsistency is that it's an inconsistency because no one ever acknowledges that the Leviathan would be affected by it. Like, I haven't even seen the author acknowledge that Leviathan would be turned into goo, and thus there would be a giant, like, planets, like, continent-sized goo monster swimming around.
Eventually it would be a planet-sized goo monster.
Yeah.
I'll make the argument that I understand where people are coming from if they were to say, like, oh, well, you can't add every SCP into, like, a specific story. But when it's an apocalyptic event, you kind of need to talk about everything.
Or at least talk about the ones where it'd be, like, it'd be a noticeable thing, right?
Yeah.
Like
no one cares about...
No one cares about that snail guy, that, like, the snail that has, like, that thinks it's an explorer from, like, the 1800s. What that would do what that would do when day breaks, it would turn into goo. That's what would happen.
No one cares about that, like, living ball and trapped in tungsten with molten lead surrounding it in, like, the Gobi Desert or something. Literally no one cares.
But you know what you should mention?
Yeah.
In fact, I think the Leviathan's, like, the first thing you should mention.
It's definitely up there.
Because, like, the Plague Doctor is... Well, it doesn't matter if it's an exoskeleton, in fact. I think the fucking... the
costume's organic.
Yeah, because the exoskeleton's organic.
Skeleton.
So it would still turn into goo.
Yeah.
But, yeah, no... Because, like, the Leviathan would be probably the most important SCP to mention. Because, like, it'd be more important than definitely, like, the Plague Doctor or 096. Where they're like, oh, those are just, like, a person-sized monster.
But Bio, you know why those have stories?
Because they're the most popular ones, yes.
Yeah.
I'm fully aware. I'm fully aware why.
You know, another thing, though, I have a problem with?
What?
This is going back to, like, why is this here? Because, like, it doesn't really do anything with SCP. In the original story for When Day Breaks, I don't think a single SCP is mentioned by name.
Oh, yeah, no. I literally think just one, like an unnamed one, escapes captivity.
Yeah.
Runs outside. It runs outside and then gets turned into goo immediately.
Yeah, and then a bunch of others follow it.
Yeah, it's just. So here's the thing. You could literally. So yeah, you could literally just replace. Fucking. You could literally just replace. SCP.
universe.
SCP with just like the military.
Yeah.
And it'd be the same.
I mean, I do understand from this point, you kind of need, like, an organization like the SCP to survive something this OP.
Would the SCP, who's a giant vulture and a serial mascot, be affected?
What one?
The one that's a vulture and a serial mascot? I have no clue. I didn't know that one.
Like, if they're organic or whatever.
He's saying it's rhetorical, but I was not aware of that one. That's why I was asking. I've not heard of that one now. But, also,
But
why...
you can't convince me 173 is affected. He's not.
Why would... So here's my problem. Here's my big thing. There's literally God in the fucking SCP universe.
Yeah.
SCP-300.
Being
SCP-300, like, I'm pretty sure it's SCP. SCP-300. No, not 308, you fucking dumb. 300. Oh no, 300 some other shit. What is...
Turns out it was
308, really? 308.
I don't know, but it is in the 300s, I think.
308, no, that's Aztec origin. The one that's God. You know which one I'm talking about.
Yeah, I know what I'm talking about. I'll find it in a sec.
SCP God would just be like, oh, the sun's bad? Now it's not mad anymore. Because it's God.
What about all the SCPs that are or like all the world-ending events being held back by the SCP?
Oh yeah, like the fucking like the sister, like the daughter's one, or the Scarlet King.
Yeah.
Why doesn't the Scarlet King?
Being.
Why doesn't the Scarlet King just show up and wreck house? I don't fucking know.
No, the Scarlet King is not affected by the sun, by the way. If anyone's wondering.
Is it because he's organic, or is it because he's literally like the devil?
There's no way you just can't convince me he is because he's just so powerful.
SCP Scarlet King. I want to look up because I don't know much about the Scarlet King actually. But
according to this dude I watched, the Scarlet King is basically above a being who, if summoned into the world, would destroy the entire metaverse.
Okay, so wait, no, the Scarlet King's another 001, so he wouldn't be there.
Yeah.
So, I guess that one's fine. But, yeah, God is 304. It's 343, which I'm pretty sure is the Halo. SCP-343. Yeah, look, okay. SCP-343. God by the Sapphire, he looks like an ordinary man. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it mentions. Yeah. Okay, so SCP-343 is a male, seemingly raceless humanoid in appearance with apparent omnipotence. He's literally omnipotent. He could literally just be like, if the sun turned mad, he could just be like, now the sun's not mad anymore.
Like, oh yeah, well,
it's just
glad.
Yeah, I maybe I don't know, because it just doesn't. Okay, so
I guess I don't like the sun being portrayed as a god. Maybe
it doesn't make any. I don't like it because within the confines of this universe, this would never work, would it?
Yeah.
Because like either.
What's the giant death robot Jupiter doing during one day lakes?
I guess he's just sitting there waiting to be remade. He's just sitting there waiting to clean shop once the sun gets.
Yeah.
Once everything's goo, he'll just show up and be like, "Well, you're not goo. You're goo now, so I guess I'll still shoot you."
Yeah. Like, hey, this was my job. And he starts attacking the sun.
It's so fucking silly to me. Because he's a robot, so he wouldn't be affected. So he definitely would just show up and blow shit up.
Do you think would the place where he comes from
No, because it's
They
like
say-
300,000 light years away, isn't it?
Yeah, it's like 3 million light
Yeah,
years away.
3 million light years. If it's affected, it's never going to, like, actually... we're never going to see it.
Yeah.
But, yeah, no, that was a tangent about when day breaks. Because...
SCP-5000's a better when day breaks. Even
Oh,
though
yeah.
It's not perfect.
When SCP-5000 is automatically better than when day breaks because it actually acknowledges the Leviathan is a thing that exists
Yeah.
in this
It
universe.
acknowledges what like all these SCPs would do if the world ends.
Yeah. And it
At
used...
least.
It's bet SCP-5000 is better because it is a SCP event, right?
Yeah. It's like the thing people actually want.
Yeah, because when day breaks is just a setting that you just forced onto SCP, while SCP-5000 could only work in the SCP universe. Like,
Yeah, it's literally just the SCP.
yeah, it's like what if SCPs were
After what
weaponized?
SCP-5000 is?
Okay, so SCP-5000 is very similar to SCP When Day Breaks. It's another apocalyptic event that happened on in another universe, but instead of it being the sun got mad and turned people to goo, it was what if the SCP Foundation weaponized the SCPs and destroyed the world, and
Yeah.
it's pretty fucking sick, to be honest.
Yeah. I honestly want more from it,
Yeah.
but I'm content at least.
Yeah,
It's not.
Yeah, at least
But
it's
I
not
think,
fucking
the
good.
worst part about 5000 is you have to watch like an explanation video to find out what's going on at the end.
Yeah. I just know that fucking they nuke the Leviathan, which makes it move, which causes tidal waves across the planet. They send pictures of SCP-069's face across social media, which causes it to just go fucking flash mode and start murdering everyone.
Yeah. They lay siege to the GOC.
Yeah.
Oh, they took that flesh that hates and put it in like major cities, New York and Delhi at least.
Yeah. It's better than When Day Breaks.
Yeah.
Just like objectively speaking, it's a better like setting and storyline.
What would you do if SCP-5000 happened?
I would die. That's what it would happen. Like that's just it's the same answer as what would I do if SCC When Daybreak happens? I would die.
Yeah. Actually, how about this? What SCP do you think would be first to kill you?
Probably SCP fucking 069 because I'm on social media a lot. Because I'm on social media a lot, and I'd probably just get fucking I'd probably see it and
probably same.
get fucking got apparently.
With our like Tuesday or someone would send it to the group chat.
Oh yeah, no, fucking Cad would send it to the group chat.
Yeah.
So. But
like if I'm going, y'all going with me.
Bitch. But yeah, this was a tangent about SCPs. We didn't even get into the one where a fucking futuristic robot from 3 million light years away somehow crash landed into a fucking planetary system.
Yeah, and hit Io, which is bigger than Pluto. Io was one of Jupiter's moons, and it got so close to Earth, it's gold. It just hits the moon.
It literally got within like 100 million miles, and then hit a fucking rock the size of the moon and fucking exploded.
Yeah.
Oh shit! What was the other one? What's the other fucking terrible one that we talk about all the time?
I don't remember.
Christ! It was just in my head.
When they raise the moon.
There's one where it's like that doesn't make any sense, and it's so stupid to me. Yeah, there was one. I'm thinking about it. I'm trying to get it. Because there was Io, the one that hits Io. What the fuck is that?
Are you talking about like the Bismarck?
The Bismarck? No, not that one.
Oh, okay.
No, I can't think of it. Damn it. Oh, the Hateful Star. The fucking. Another thing I hate about One Day Breaks is that it ruined the Hateful Star. Yeah, the Hateful Star SCP is changed. Okay, there's a couple reasons why it's changed. Because the creator of the Hateful Star was like, probably looked at the SCP community and was like, you know what? I'm just gonna take this cool concept that I have of a sun that's angry and flying towards the planet, and I'm gonna go do something with it over here. And so he left with it, basically. He he packed his things and left. But now there's just they just replaced it with the One Daybreak sun.
Yeah, basically. Now the Hateful Star, our sun, but it's really angry and it's like
it's plotting. It's plotting to fucking send goo waves towards us or something.
Yeah,
it's so fucking stupid. Anyway,
I liked the original Hateful Star
Oh
more.
yeah, it's so much better, dude.
It's at least because it's kind of.
It's fun. It's a funny. Yeah. It's a fun like classic SCP, isn't it?
Yeah.
Where
I ever showed you the Hateful Star versus SCP-682 rap battle.
No, you haven't. But I've seen a story between SCP-682 and the Hateful Star, and the Hateful Star just immediately disintegrates him.
Just murders him on the spot.
Like the story is so funny because it's like it takes place 50,000 years in the future when the world blew up or something. No, the Earth is destroyed because they let all the SCPs out, and the Hateful Star shows up, and he's like, "What the fuck? I was gonna do this." You fucks.
He's mad at them.
Yeah, he's mad that everyone's dead, and he sees, because apparently he can see stuff. He sees SCP-682 walking around in like the barren wastelands of Australia, apparently not noticing that the fuck like a sun is in atmosphere. And the Hateful Star is just so mad that he just like fucking disintegrates him.
He just murders him.
He's just like, yeah, and he's gone.
Eats him.
Yeah, but I think we've talked about SCP for like an hour now, so I'm gonna end the stream. This was a fun one, guys. I'm glad we could talk about these three.
Next time I'll be easier to hear, maybe, and be funnier at least.
Ah, you were funny. But yeah, no, we got.
Don't you hype me up.
We read some fucking awful stories, and we talked about a very terrible SCP. So I think this is a very successful stream.
Yeah.